and welcome to our CoSIDA Special Awards video tributes. Today, we are honoring our distinguished 2020 and 2021 Rising Star Award recipients. I'm Blake Timm, Assistant Commissioner for Communications for the Great Northwest Athletic Conference, and I am thrilled to speak to our most recent Rising Star honorees. We wish we could salute you all in person, but in our virtual environment, we thank you for joining us today via video. First, let's offer our congratulations to our 2020 honorees. From the University Division, Chaz Dorman, the Assistant Director of Athletics for Communications at Princeton University. And our College Division honoree, Danielle Percival, Assistant Athletic Director for Communications at Piedmont University. Danielle is also a member of the CoSIDA Executive Board of Directors. And now here are our 2021 Rising Stars. From the College Division, AJ O'Hagan, Sports Information Director at Yeshiva University. And from the University Division, Katie Mucci, Assistant Commissioner for Technology and New Media at the Missouri Valley Conference. The Rising Star Award is presented annually to one University Division and one College Division member with 10 years of full-time service or less in the profession. It is given for exemplary service, dedication, energy, and enthusiasm that make the individual a rising star in sports information. Congratulations to all four of you on receiving your CoSIDA Rising Star Awards. What's especially significant is that this honor is nominated by and voted upon by your peers. Chaz, we'll start with you. What does this award mean to you?
Thanks, Blake, and congrats to all the other award winners here. And it's great to see a lot of you and be a part of this. And I think it, like you touched on right at the end there, it's voted on by your peers. And, you know, we don't do a lot of this for recognition, and we all are service-minded to our student athletes and universities, but it's great to feel appreciated, and it's great to know that the people you work closest with are, you know, they're happy with your work and they're excited to work with you, and you know that there's some reward for all those long nights and weekends and time away from folks and all those ideas that you come up with, that people are checking them out and that you're doing the right things and you're hopefully progressing where you want to be in your career.
Danielle, what does this mean to you?
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. I believe that Chaz kind of hit it on the nail on the head with just the fact that there's really no higher honor. I mean, these are the people who know what it's like day in and day out, and really understand the grind that you're in. And especially with the last year that everyone has had, I think that it just kind of speaks to how much of a family this body really is, that you can be voted for this by your peers. And it's really an honor.
AJ, how about you?
Congratulations to our to all the winners here. Really honored to be in the same company as you guys. It's a really elite company I'm in, and so thank you guys. And yeah, it means a lot to be voted on by my peers. It's definitely a huge confidence booster. Doing the job that I love and being honored for it, it really means a lot, and I couldn't be any happier.
Katie, what does this mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, first off, I have to say thank you to my friend Kaylin, who's the one who nominated me. She has been doing this for years, so I really appreciate her pushing my name forward, because that's what this is all about. It's the relationships you've built in the industry, and the networking that we've all done goes into being nominated by your peers and then voting. And I think it's huge, and everyone's already kind of hit it. And as everyone else said, congrats to all four of us. I look up to a lot of you guys. Danielle and I've been friends for a while, so I look up to her especially, and I just think it's such a cool honor.
Now, many of you are involved in volunteer leadership within CoSIDA, whether it be serving in a board or leadership role, being on a committee, participating in professional development or a volunteer event like the Fitness Challenge, the 5K, many other things. You're all involved in giving back. Why is this important to you? And what would you say to other members about getting involved in CoSIDA activities and leadership? And Danielle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Blake, I think that the biggest thing is kind of what Katie touched on, that it's all about relationships, and what better way to form those relationships within this industry than to jump in and get involved in CoSIDA. I mean, it's a great way to really build your network early on. I think that was one of the things that I really enjoyed from the beginning of my time in CoSIDA. Is my first year, I went to the convention and got involved. And so I think that this organization gives you the chance to succeed. There's no shortage of opportunities to get involved and to form those relationships. And I think that that's the thing that's most beneficial, and the thing that really just helps propel you in your career is forming those relationships, getting that networking opportunity. And whether you know what you're doing or not, there's people along the way that will help you figure things out as you go. So don't be afraid to jump in.
Katie, how about you? You've been very involved in a number of CoSIDA committees in your career.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what Danielle said, just jumping right in. I think within my first year of working full-time in the industry, I reached out to Lori Bollig and said, I want to do something. I want to be involved in something. I want to do something. And that got me on my first committee, which then led to a committee chair role and things like that. And I think that especially if you're young in the industry, that's what you have to do to get your name out there, to get yourself out there. Because so much of this industry, but not only SID, but sports in general is so much about networking and who you know and who you've met. And I think those ways to get your name out there is getting involved in things and pushing yourself out there. You have to, even though we said that SIDs aren't the best at self-promotion, you have to. And I think that's exactly the best way to do it, is not just saying I'm great, but getting involved in things where you can showcase that.
AJ, how about you? You've been very involved, especially in the fitness challenge and the 5K over the past few years.
And I really enjoy it. And one of the big reasons why it gets me to having teammates again and having close friends, just like during my college years, and just networking and having virtual sessions, like a virtual social night during the fitness challenge with my teammates, and just like getting to know each other and doing buddy walks. And it means a lot to me because I met so many great people during my last few times being at the CoSIDA convention, and getting to be on starting a team called Team Autism Awareness and Acceptance, just like I did when I was in college, doing in-person sports. And even though this is more of a virtual thing, it still means a lot to me to bond with people and fighting for a cause. And shout out to my co-captain, Allison Hogue, who's also on the autism spectrum. She's been a big help, and it's been amazing. I know Chaz is on our team this time too, and who's doing a really good job in the challenge. And I'm really enjoying it. And it's just like, it takes me back to my days in college. And it's good to know, even if it's virtual, it's still the same. It's take me back in a good way.
And Chaz will finish up with you.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to follow my captain's lead in AJ. He runs a good squad, and he keeps us going with the fitness challenge. But I think we're all wired to like help out with stuff. That's kind of how we ended up in this business, is, we're involved and we like to plan and we like to organize. And so, we're always looking for a little bit more, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing can vary at times. But, that's how I was in college and high school, was being active and involved in a lot of different groups and committees. And so being able to do that professionally for all the reasons everyone else said, when I got into it and working in the Northeast, the Ivy League is a very parochial conference. And so one of the goals for me with getting involved was to meet folks from around the country, and the folks on this call, and they've all helped me in different ways. And, whether we are best friends or just meet or haven't met, but Katie gave presentations at CoSIDA, and I was like, that was interesting. And I still use things today that I learned from Katie like 5 years ago. And so that's really important. And the more opportunities we have to connect about that, we're not being as competitive about who's winning and losing a game. This is all for the betterment of ourselves and the group. So it's great to be involved and give the time we do have to CoSIDA in this way.
Now, as Chaz just alluded to, all four of you are well respected within the profession, even though you're rising stars, which is really just an age line anyway. And we all know it doesn't matter how old or young you are. If you're a great professional, you're a great professional. But can you think of a professional accomplishment or success that you've recently had on your campus or in your conference? Because Katie, I'll go to you first, that you're particularly proud of.
Surviving this year. I can't honestly think of something specific other than just getting through this crazy year and almost being out on the other end of it. I don't think anything stacks up to what we've all been through. It's not a me thing. It's an every single person in this industry has been going through this. And I think just being able to get through this and surviving and still having a smile on our face every now and then, I think is the biggest thing, because it's been rough. But everyone's done a really, really good job at managing and figuring out new ways to do things, whether it's budget issues they're facing or personnel issues, because a lot of people don't have students on campus or things like that. And I think just getting through this year is so huge for everyone, and I'm so proud of everyone for doing it.
AJ, how about you? Is it the pandemic, or is it some of the great publicity you've been able to put together for Yeshiva?
Oh, I think like the entire staff at Yeshiva University did a really good job of getting the season together with the pandemic. In terms of for me personally, a lot of this happened before the pandemic, but just so like with the men's basketball team being on a 36-game winning streak, including a Skyline Championship and a trip to the NCAA Sweet 16 round of the NCAA tournament, being able to assist in working with external media outlets such as ABC, Eyewitness News, Fox 5, the Daily News, trying to get coverage for our team on its incredible run. And for our women's tennis team, a few years ago, they won the Skyline Conference Championship and became the first women's program in school history to compete in the NCAA tournament. That was a really special run, just being able to play a small role in that. Our men's tennis team winning 6 consecutive conference championships, winning NCAA tournament matches, and even the simple stuff like our women's volleyball team winning a regular season match down 2-0 to win a 5-set thriller, or men's soccer team winning an overtime match. Just being involved in all those things is a big accomplishment. It's always a feel-good night when our student athletes and our teams have success.
Now, Katie alluded to it when she spoke a minute ago, but in our challenging college athletic environment today, and also as we come out of the pandemic, what would you tell a young athletic communication professional about staying in this profession? And what lessons or advice can you share about best practices and skills to develop and how to meet these challenges? And Danielle, we'll start with you.
Sure. I think that it certainly is an interesting time in our profession. And I think that CoSIDA as a whole has been doing a great job of advocating and continuing that conversation at the administrative level to showcase the significance of our sports information professionals and our athletic communications directors and everything that they bring to the table, how it's so much more than just a website and a story. I think that one key component is starting young and getting with our students that are on campus and being able to foster those relationships and show them why this is a profession worth pursuing. We just recently wrapped our academic semester, and we were able to have a ton of student workers this spring, more than we typically would, because we needed more hands on deck. And so I recently received an email from one of them that is pursuing a graduate assistantship now. And just the words that he had to say were so reaffirming for everything that we've gone through, and how he spoke about the respect that we show to all of our student athletes, our student workers, our coaches, how he wants to be a part of a team that has the bond that we have, and that he wants to pursue this with a passion like we show. And so just hearing those words after the fact made it so reaffirming for everything that we've gone through this semester. So just know that it kind of starts at the beginning. It starts with the people on your own campus. How can we impact them to want to pursue this? How can we build the next generation on our own campuses to go out and pursue and build that SID tree?
Jazz, how about you? Advice for your fellow younger professionals?
It's nice to be considered fellow younger professionals. I think I set a record as the oldest Rising Star Award winner. I mean, I'll be 40 in November, and I have 2 kids. I think there's a whole lot of firsts for me, but so I've been transitioning into that mentorship role a little bit, and so I think about this a lot. And and for me personally, like, why do I still want to do this? And it's remembering why you got into it, because it's fun. It's sports. We may not have all been athletes in college or high school, but we've all been around it. And, in that environment is what drew us in. And, so I think back to my times as a student worker at Georgetown, and, being at big time basketball games, but then also like football games, there was like not many people there, and just how much fun we had as a staff. And I've tried to bring that with me in all my steps and learned from some great people. But, it's like, because the hours are long and the years can run long and all that, but like, when you're having fun and you're with a staff that you really are passionate about and you're supportive of, like, they become pretty short, and those memories kind of build and build. And so when you always have that in mind as to why you're doing this, I think it's easy to stay in this profession. If you're so focused on the external things and, what you're missing out on, and what your friends are doing, like, eventually you're going to have to make a tough decision. But if you're able to bring it all together in a really exciting way and continue to learn and be creative and better yourself, like, it's a really amazing environment to be around, with kids doing amazing things and coaches bringing a lot out of people. So like, how do you, I struggle with, like, every time I think about getting out, I'm like, it pulls you right back in of like, you just help and develop amazing people. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of that?
Now, there are always people who have helped you pave the way, whether they be mentors in or outside of sports communications, family, friends. Who has helped you along the way? And are there people you'd like to acknowledge and thank who have helped and supported you in your career? AJ, we'll start with you.
I want to give a special thank you to Jeffrey Bernstein, the godfather of SIDs, for nominating me for this prestigious honor. The fact that you get nominated for an award by a legend in this business means a lot to me. And even more importantly, that was by a great mentor and a great friend. So that really means a lot to me. Big thank you to Chris Gonzalez, who opened the door for me and gave me an opportunity as his assistant in sports information at Lehman College. He taught me all about the business, and I literally would not be where I am if it wasn't for him. And so thank you so much, Chris. And thank you to all the SIDs who've helped me freelance along the way, like work for your schools, starting games on the side in the New York City area. And to all the great SIDs who I met at the CoSIDA convention, who I consider really close friends, even though we're all over the country and not locally, but not traditional friendship, but still a close friendship nonetheless. And thank you to my mom for showing great leadership and overcoming so many obstacles to help me be where I am today. So, and thank you to all of you as well. Thank you, guys.
Katie, who would you like to thank?
Sorry, I missed the mute button. I live downtown, so we have sirens, so I can't stay unmuted like everyone else. I have so many people to thank, but I'll try to be limited. Heather Kennedy, she was the SID at Northern Colorado when I was a student there, and she's the one who got me interested in being in sports info. I kind of just stumbled into their office and said, I want to do stuff with sports. I don't know what. And she really sparked the interest in me. And then Dwayne Hanberry at the SCAC for taking a chance on me as someone who had limited experience and letting me move across the country and kind of adopting me and being my Georgia dad. Well, I lived really far away from my family. And then I have a really close group of friends within the SID community, and I don't need to name everybody, but they know who they are. And whether we're all apart, we're Zooming every weeknight, we're traveling together for weddings, I think those are the kind of people and those are the kind of relationships that make all the hard days and all the things that go on in this industry better, because you can always talk to them and you can vent to them or you can do things like that. And I think those are what keeps people in the industry, is having really good relationships with other people who they can who are like-minded and they can talk to and have support from. So I have so many people, but I'll just name those few. And my family, obviously, they've helped me and let me complain to them or cry to them on the phone. So yeah.
Jazz, we'll throw it to you. Who would you like to thank?
Sure. So many people for sure. I start with my wife, Emily. I'm fortunate that people struggle with that at times, relationships in this business, but I married our athletic trainer. So that made things a lot easier when it came to, time on the road and being apart. We were together when we were kind of working and all that. So she understands the business and understands the ebbs and flows and when the busy seasons are, and is always really, really supportive and an outstanding mom to our 3-year-old twins. So it's, so she's the rising star in our family. My parents have been great. They got me interested in sports and put me on my way to writing and kind of being able to bring this all together. I'm really appreciative to them for all their support. And in the business, it starts with Mike Mahoney at Penn. He was my boss for a long time. And he's the one that nominated me when I was working at Penn and then called to tell me I won when I left to go to Princeton. And so that was awkward, but he was really great, and taking somebody that was fresh out of college and took a kind of circuitous route to the business and really gave me a lot of freedom to find who I was in this business and try new things and let me really, be a leader, I think. And I think about the way he mentored me on a daily basis, and alongside Kevin Bonner, who was my CoSIDA mentor and then became one of my bosses at Penn, and just a really trusted, steady influence for me in what we do. And all my coworkers, Eric Dolan, Wilder Treadway, Chrissy Woods, and all the interns that we had throughout our time at Penn, really helpful. And everyone at Princeton has welcomed me. It's been an awkward year and a half or so. I started in November of 19 and been basically virtual most of my time working here. Stacy Bunting Thompson and Warren Croxton, Andrew Borders, and Elliot Carr and Jerry Price in our office have really brought me in and showed me how to do things in a different light in my first time as a boss, and really, bared with me during that. And so I'm really appreciative to that. And then, as always, I'll end with a shout out to the young CoSIDA folks that really were great mentors to me, and sounding boards and champions of, letting me take some risks and telling me it's going to be okay, and being examples to look towards as to where I want to go in this profession.
Danielle, who would you like to thank?
Sure. Well, of course, I have to thank Ira Thor for throwing my name in the hat. Ira, of course, a legend in the business. But the biggest thank you I think that I have to give is to Timmy McCormack, who is the man who hired me and brought me into the business. He was the SID here at Piedmont before I came on board as his assistant. Worked my way up. He is still on staff here and still a great mentor to this day. He's our head women's soccer coach and an assistant AD, but he taught me what I know in the business. I mean, he took a chance on me when I didn't have very much statistical knowledge. I knew sports, but didn't really know what this job entailed. And he gave me the tools to be successful and climb the ladder and find a career, find something that I'm passionate about. Of course, I have to thank my staff, the people that I've worked with here at Piedmont, Chuck Tidmore, Joseph Garwood, Troy Wyman. I mean, they are the reason that Piedmont is successful. They're the reason that our department is able to thrive and expand and continue to grow to new heights. And of course, I have to thank my parents for being loving and supporting through all of the years, traveling to Troy when I was going on the sidelines, doing different games, and just always being there and always being a part of, every step along the way. And of course, my wonderful supportive boyfriend who took care of the dog this semester and made life far less stressful than it would have been otherwise.
So as we close this out, 30 seconds for each of you. Final thoughts to share, pearls of wisdom. Danielle, we'll start with you.
I think the biggest advice that I can give is don't be afraid to say yes. You may not know what you're getting into. You may not know what exactly it's going to take along the way, but say yes, take a chance, ask questions. People will be willing to help you along the way. You just have to be willing to take that step and go out there.
Jazz, your final words.
Don't be afraid to try new things and be okay with that they may not go as exactly as you planned. I think all the really good successes and growth I've experienced in this profession have been from willing to try something and being okay with the result and using it as a learning experience. The world's not going to end if something falls a little flat. If anything, you'll take it and get a little bit better from it. And that's, all you can really ask for from any experience.
AJ?
Don't be afraid to make errors. We all make errors. We make the typos, some factual errors. Just learn from them. Learn from them. Learn how you can adjust from them, and it makes you a better person on the job. The more mistakes you make, the smarter you become, the more wiser you become, and you'll be able to make a lot less of those going forward.
And Katie, you have the last word.
For me, I think it's find your voice, and whether that's being able to speak up to administration, being able to speak out about things, being able to promote yourself, promote your student athletes. I think so many people in this industry are scared to be looked at as self-promotion or anything, but I think that we're all in here and we all deserve the recognition. Some of us are getting awards like this, but I think everyone deserves it. We work so hard, and I think don't be afraid to find your voice. And like I said, speaking up about things, whether you think it's unfair or whatever, find your voice.
Well, once again, Danielle, Chaz, AJ, Katie, thank you all so much for your time, and congratulations again on your respective CoSIDA Rising Star Awards.
Thank you.
Thank you.